Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm so sorry. I've gone for a break. I'm really so sorry for the break, but today I'm back and I'm better. Okay, so I'm just going to start with showing you guys the basic bodice block. Then from there we'll proceed to drafting things from the basic bodice block. Okay, so now I divided my pattern paper into two. This one is the center front and the center back, that's CF and CB. So on the center front, what I'm marking there is from my shoulder line to my bust point line. Then I'll mark my waist, my front waist measurement, and my hips line. Okay, so I'm drafting these basic bodies from the shoulder to the hip line. So I'm connecting the bust point line for the front now. So I'm connecting my front waistline, which is 17.5 inches. So from that 17.5 inches, I'll mark 9 inches down to get my hip line. So for the back, I'm also going to mark out the bust points line, which is 10 inches from the shoulder. For the back waistline, for me is 15.5 inches. Then from that 15.5 inches, I'll mark 9 inches down as well to get my hip line. So remember, my front waistline is 17.5 inches and my back waistline is 15.5 inches. That's why you see that they are not in the same line, and my back and front bodies has a difference of 2 inches. Okay, because the front waistline is 17.5 inches and the back waistline is 15.5 inches. If you check it, the difference you're going to have is 2 inches. So I'm labeling it. That is a bust point line, that is a waistline, and this is the hip line. So that 2 inches, the difference between that front and back bodies, that 2 inches difference is what we use as the bust dart. Okay, so now let's proceed to mark the shoulder measurement. My shoulder is 15 inches. So 15 divided by 2 is 7.5 inches. So I'm marking 7.5 inches there. So I'm using a neck width and neck depth of 3 inches by 3 inches for the front. I'll just connect it with a curve. So on that shoulder line, I will come down by 1 inch. Okay, for the front for the front shoulder slope, I came down by 1 inch first. So I will mark out my armhole. So how you get where your armhole is going to start, or your chest line is going to start, is you divide your bust circumference measurement by 6 and you add 1.5 inches to it. So I'm confirming to make sure I place that mark exactly under my shoulder measurement. So I'll connect with a straight line. So on the back shoulder line, I'm also going to mark half of my shoulder measurement, which is 7.5. Then I also mark the neck width of 3 inches, and I also come down by 1 inch for the neck depth. So I'll go down by 1 inch to create the shoulder slope. Connect it with my ruler to the neck width. Then remember, the way we get our armhole line is, or the chest line is, divide the bust circumference measurement by 6, then you add 1.5 inches to it. So I'm confirming to make sure I placed it exactly under my shoulder line measurement. So I'm connecting with a straight line. Now you connect the 2 points together to get your chest line. So on the center front, that's the front bodies, on that shoulder slope, I will go down with extra ½ inch. That means for the front, I went down with 1.5 inches, and for the back, I used 1 inch for the shoulder slope. Okay, so this extra ½ inch that I went down is to help reduce that gaping you get around your armhole because of the bust in the front. Okay, so I'll now divide that line into 2. So I'll go down by ½ inch there. And on that chest line, I'll mark my bust circumference measurement divided by 4. My bust circumference measurement is 37. So 37 divided by 4 is giving me 9.25. So I place 9.25 there. I'll go with my curve and connect to create my armhole curve for the front. So this is temporary because we're going to be adding shoulder dart to this, so we're going to still redraw this. So on the center back, that is the waistline on the center back, I went in by 0.75 inches. You know the back is not straight, so and on that bust point I came up by 5 inches. So I'm going to connect this dart now that I created there, because our back is not straight, it has a curve to it, and if you don't do this, you're going to be having issues of zip bulge. So I just went ahead now to create that. So I am going to create the back armhole as well, armhole curve. So I divided that line into 2 and I'll go in by 0.25. remember, for the front I went in by ½ inch, but for the back I'm going in by 0.25. Then the same thing I did, I'll place my bust circumference measurement divided by 4 there. Remember that we marked there. I'll place what I have there back, so I will not be losing anything on my bodice. So I'll go ahead and connect these 3 points together. So now on that bust points line, I'm going to mark half of my bust span measurement. My bust span measurement is 8 inches, so 8 divided by 2 is 4. So I'm marking 4 on both the bust point line, the waistline and the hip line, so I will impute my dart. So I'm connecting with a straight line. So I'm marking a dart of half inch on that waistline. Okay, so I'll place a dart of ½ inch on that waistline. On the bust point, I'll go down by 1 inch. And on the hips line, I will go up by 2 inches. So I'll connect my darts. So for the back as well, I'm going to mark from that point, from that dart that I created on the back, I'm going to mark my dart of 4 inches. So I'll take what I have from the beginning of that pattern paper to that my dart, which is 4.75 inches. Remember, the first dart I created at the back is 0.75 inches. So I'll mark that dart on both the bust point line and the hip line, connect with it a straight line as well. So for this back, I'm going to extend this line by 1 inch. Okay, I'll extend it up by 1 inch. Then I'll mark a dart of half inch there. That's making it 1 inch. And on the hip line, I'm also going to go up by 2 inches. Then I'll connect the darts. So I'll connect the dart to that 1 inch that I went up with on the bust point. So now we're going to place the horizontal measurements. So on the bust point, I'm going to put my bust circumference measurement divided by 4, which is 9.25. My bust circumference measurement is 37. 37 divided by 4 is 9.25. On the waistline, my waist measurement is 28 inches. 28 divided by 4 is 7 inches, plus that 1 inch of that, so I marked it there. So On the hips line, I'm going to mark my hip measurement divided by 4. My hip is 39. 39 divided by 4 is 9.75. So I mark them, and so I'm still explaining further to tell you that I added back that I took out on the waistline. So my waist measurement is 28. 28 divided by 4 is 7. 7 plus 1 inch of that is 8 inches. So that was what I marked there. So on the back, I'm also going to put my bust circumference measurement divided by 4, which is 9.25. And remember that we created at the back, that's 0.7 inches that we created from the waistline to eliminate the zip bulge. So I'm going to add whatever I have there on the bust point line. I'm going to impute it back, and for the waistline, I'm also going to mark my waist measurement divided by 4, which is 7, plus the 0.75 inches that at the back, then plus the 1 inch that in the center. So I'm going to explain again. For the back waistline, I mark my for the back waistline, I mark my waist measurement divided by 4, which is 7, plus the 1 inch that's the waist that's of 1 inch, then plus that zip bulge that I marked there of 0.75 inches. So I will connect with a line, a straight line. So remember, the back and front bodice has a difference of 2 inches. So that 2 inches is what I'm going to be using as my bust dart. So I'm going to take that 2 inches and I'll mark it on my bust dart. So how you mark it, from your bust point down, you mark the 2 inches. Okay, so I'll connect to the bust point. By so doing, if you mark your side front to your side back, is going to align properly. So let's proceed to create the shoulder dart. So from this front shoulder slope, I'm going to divide it into 2. Then I'll connect this point to the bust point with a straight line. Now the measurement I have from this point now to this line that we marked, I'm going to measure it and I'll write it down somewhere because we're going to be imputing it to create our shoulder slope. Okay, so the front shoulder slope, remember the front shoulder slope, I went down from the shoulder 1.5 inches. So I'm going to extend that line, and to get your shoulder dart, you divide the bust circumference measurement by 12. So my bust circumference measurement is 37. I'll divide 37 by 12. So what I got was 3.1, approximately 3.1. So I'm going to mark it from that shoulder, from that line there to that straight line that I marked. So I marked down my 3.1. So that is the shoulder dart. So I'm confirming to make sure it's 3.1. So I'll connect it back to the bust point. Then remember that line, that measurement I told you guys to bear in mind. So I'm going to impute that measurement back from this. That's our shoulder dart line, this second shoulder dart line. So this measurement I'm taking now, you're going to impute it to this second dart that we created, that second dart leg that we created. So if you don't understand what I just explained, please watch this video again, and I promise you, you're going to understand it. So I'm confirming to make sure is that exact measurement that I'm placing back. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut out the back pattern. All these parts that I'm marking are the darts. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out the back pattern, so I'll close up my darts and do the finishing work on the front bodies. So guys, if you're finding this video helpful, as usual, please let me know in the comment section. If you have any questions, please put it down in the comment section. And if this is the first time you're coming across this YouTube channel, please go ahead and subscribe. I'm going to be creating a corset pattern with this basic bodice block, so that's why I said let me first drop this video before I will proceed. And I'm really sorry about the background noise. Everywhere is so noisy today, but I really needed to drop this video today. So guys, please support me by liking and commenting and also subscribing to my channel. Thank you guys for those that have subscribed. Thank you all for your sweet comments. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. So let's get back to the video. All right, so now I am closing up the shoulder darts, so I will connect my shoulder slope perfectly. Please take your time and close up this shoulder darts. So I've closed it up. I'm going to use my straight ruler to connect. So I'm showing you guys how I'm closing it up. I'm making sure that second dart leg is lying directly on top of that first dart leg. So I'm going to use a straight line and reconnect my shoulder slope. So I'm going to use another color of markers because we are going to be redrawing our front armhole curve. Okay, that armhole curve you see now is not going to be working for us. We're going to redraw our front armhole curve. So you're going to take the measurement you have from the bust point to that first point, that point now that you came in by half inch to create your first armhole curve. You're going to take what you have there and you're going to mark it on this first dart leg. So I'm just doing this so I'll get the accurate measurement. So I'll mark it there. Now the measurement I have from the bust point to the chest line, I'm going to take it and also mark it on the first dart leg. Okay, so now I'm going to use a straight line and connect to get what I'm going to be taking out from that point. So you see that dot that will mark there. So that dot will mark there. You're going to take the measurement of what you have from that first dart leg to the second dart leg. You do the same thing on the chest line. So I took those measurements so I'll get the exact points. So that measurement I have there now, I'm going to measure it. Whatever I get, I will place it from that first armhole curve, that point that went in by half inch. I'm going to mark what I have out. So please watch this video again if you don't get this point, because you need to get this part. That's how your pattern is going to align. You're not going to lose anything from your measurements. So take what you have from that there and remark it from that first armhole curve. You remark it. Do the same thing on the chest line as well, so you're not going to be shorting anything from your pattern. Please, if you do not understand this, watch it again and you're going to get it. So by so doing, we're creating a new armhole curve. So this is going to be your new armhole curve. Okay, so I'm going to connect them, and this is the front armhole curve. So I'm going to blend that line to the bust point. And now, before you cut out your pattern, please close up your shoulder, your bust darts. So I'm erasing the other first armhole curve that we created to show you that that is not the armhole curve you're going to working with again. So this second one we'll mark now is our front armhole curve. Please go ahead and close up your bust darts before you cut out your pattern. So I'm going to close my bust darts and I'll go ahead and cut it out. So I've closed the bust darts. I'll go ahead and cut out my front bodice. Please follow that line like that and cut everything out. And this has brought us to the end of this pattern drafting. So if you have any question, please put it down in the comment section. I'm going to attend to it, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Please kindly subscribe. If you watch from the beginning to the end, kindly subscribe to my channel. In the next video, I'm going to be using this basic bodice block to create a corset pattern. Yes, so that was why I first dropped this video, because I know I want to create things from it. I also want to show you guys that you can create things with your basic torso or basic bodice block. So thank you so much guys for watching. I will see you guys in my next video. Remember, if you have any question, put it down in the comment section and I'll attend to it. I love you guys. Remain blessed. Bye.